Okay, this is gonna be a different kind of video. Bear with me on this one. Almost exactly 1 year ago today, I quit my job as a full-time mechanical engineer to pursue the life of being a YouTuber or content creator, whatever word you want to put around that. And in this video today, I want to talk about what it's been like for the past year of being a full-time content creator, the highs, the lows, the pros and cons. And I also want to share with you exactly how much money I made in the past year of pursuing this career, because I think that's pretty important. And not because I want to flex how many views or subscribers or how much money I've made, because to be honest, I haven't gotten rich in the past year, but I do think it's important to share this kind of information because there are so many people aspiring to be a YouTuber or content creator or TikToker. I know because even my own kids want to be a YouTuber. And I think it's important to set realistic expectations about the financial side of things, because honestly, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Before we get into all that stuff though, let's rewind time a little bit to explain how I got here. How did I become a YouTuber in the first place? Well, before this job, I worked as a mechanical engineer for over 10 years, actually closer to 15 years. And I did about 10 years of that portion at the same company where I kind of worked my way up the ladder. I had health insurance. I had a reliable, above average paycheck. I had the title of principal mechanical designer. So why did I quit? Well, on paper, this robotics engineering job was super cool, but I was missing a couple of things. First of all, creative freedom and that fulfillment of doing my own thing. And I didn't love clocking in for 8 hours into my cubicle, answering to like 3 different bosses, and of course, all of the pointless meetings that just drove me crazy. So one day I was sitting in one of those pointless meetings and I decided I can't do this anymore. That's when I typed up my resignation letter in that meeting and sent it to my manager at the time, and I went for it. I became self-employed after that day. Now that you've heard my little story, before you run off and quit your day job to become a YouTuber, just know that this wasn't entirely spontaneous. I was planning on doing this eventually. I did have the channel already gaining some momentum. It had a reliable monthly income. And on top of that, I was already padding my bank account with every spare dollar I had in order to afford sort of a buffer zone before, if things totally failed, I could bail and go back and crawl back to my old job. But thankfully, I haven't had to go and do that yet. Now that I've explained the story behind how I got here, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of this new lifestyle that I've been living for the past year. First up, the pros. Easily the best part of being self-employed is being your own boss. I have no one to answer to except for myself. Now, there does come with some catches, and we'll talk about those in a minute, but the fact that I'm my own boss, I can wake up whenever I want to, I can take my lunch break whenever I want to, I can go on a run in the middle of the day because that's kind of my job now. That's all great. I really enjoy that aspect of it, and I really enjoy the feeling of like just working for myself. Everything I do, every morsel of energy I put into work is directly benefiting me and my family, and I'm not working for some giant corporation or some super rich billionaire guy. Another big benefit of being self-employed is that I'm a more present parent. Before, when I was in mechanical engineering, I worked a 9-to-5 job. Even when I worked from home, I was in meetings, I was answering phone calls from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. until I could clock out of work. And when I was in the office, I was just non-existent to my family at all. I would always be tied up in meetings. I never got to leave early. It was really locked down. Another key reason why I decided to pursue this lifestyle and this career is just to scratch that creative itch that I've always had. Ever since I was a kid, I've had this sort of creative need to either draw something or take a photo, just make music. I used to play guitar and drums and things like that. And I always have this like urge to be creative and to make stuff and kind of just put it out there to the world. What I'm doing now, every day is a new adventure. Every day I have to come up with creative ideas. I have to hit record on this camera. Heck, even this video right now is some creative endeavor that otherwise I probably wouldn't do. And not only does it scratch that creative itch, it also gets me out of my shell a bit because, you know, as like a near 40-year-old guy, a dad of 4 kids, you kind of fall into this rut of becoming, you know, that person's dad, or you kind of lose your identity in the mix of being a parent and being older and not having a ton of friends. I feel like this lifestyle of being a content creator and having to put myself out there and be vulnerable in front of the camera has also opened me up a little bit to, meeting new people, talking to people I otherwise wouldn't, and just being a little bit more social in my everyday life. Even though I just hyped up this career as being pretty amazing, and it is, like, I have the best job in the world, let's talk about some of the downsides, because there are definitely downsides, and these are things you don't often hear about from other creators on the platform. So the first thing, and this is probably the biggest thing for me, is that once money becomes involved, once you rely on your channel for money and it's paying your bills, it changes how you look at everything. And this is a real problem with the entire platform, probably not only YouTube, but probably Instagram and TikTok and anywhere where you can make a living doing this social media thing. You see, money really muddies the water when it comes to creativity. I'd be lying if I said I didn't care about money, because I need money to pay for this studio space, to pay my mortgage, my internet, my phone, my kids' baseball clinic, like all that stuff takes money, and this is my job now. And the problem is, when you see certain videos perform better than other videos, making more money than other videos, it makes you want to make more videos like the ones that are earning more income. And it's hard to get out of that rut. For example, if you look at my channel and the views on all of my videos, you'll start to notice a trend. And it's that if it's a Garmin watch video or an Apple Watch video or something to do with a watch in general, generally those videos have like tens of thousands of views, sometimes hundreds of thousands of views, which is awesome. However, if you look at my vlog videos when I'm like racing a 100-mile ultramarathon or I'm hiking up certain mountains, you'll notice those videos only have like 2,000 or 3,000 views. It's not many views on those videos. And that's where it comes into this balancing act of like, should I be investing time in those videos that are making no money, even though I enjoy making them? And for me, the answer is overwhelmingly yes. Even though this is my job now, I still want to enjoy what I'm doing. So while I do enjoy making like watch videos and gear related videos, I still want to share my story when I'm out on the trails, doing my vlogs and my long runs and racing and things like that. But it does make it harder to allocate that time to do those things because they're really not benefiting the business anymore. I hope that makes sense. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that once you identify what videos are making money and what's performing better, it's very easy to sort of chase that rabbit and end up just generating a bunch of content that you don't want to make. And that's not what I want to be doing here. Another big downside of being a self-employed content creator is that you become your own boss, which sounds great on paper. Like everybody wants to be their own boss. There is one major downside to that though, and it's that you are now a business owner. And that entails a lot of stuff I want no part of, and now I have to do it. Things like hiring a CPA or a tax professional, things like hiring a lawyer, starting an LLC, all the paperwork that goes around that. There's just a lot of paperwork that I really want no part of. I have no way of getting around it. This is what I do now. Another big scary part is the fact that I'm relying entirely on YouTube sticking around forever, because like YouTube is everything. That's kind of where I put all my content. And if YouTube decided tomorrow to delete my channel or ban it or demonetize it or just shut down entirely, I would be SOL. It would be a real problem for me. And I do think about that all the time. I mean, YouTube is massive. They're definitely not going anywhere, but it is something to consider when you have all of your eggs in one basket, which I kind of do. Okay, now that we've gone through all of the cons or downsides of being a content creator, don't get me wrong, I want you to know that this is like the best job ever, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I did want to paint a picture here because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, there can be some days that are pretty depressing when you're like doing your tax forms for 5 or 6 hours in a given day. With all of the pros and cons aside, let's get to the part of the video you probably care about and probably why you clicked on this video. How much money did I make in 2023 doing this job? Well, let's take a look at some of my stats here. First up, views. In 2023, the channel saw 8,917,000 views, just about 9 million views in the year of 2023. And that may sound like a lot or a little to you, I'm not totally sure, but for me, for my channel, this is pretty consistent. It's about the same as what I saw in 2022, which isn't great. I was hoping for a little bit more growth. It's great that it didn't go down. In fact, it went up by a little bit, but it would have been cool to see like 10 million, maybe this year. So hopefully. So how do those numbers convert into money? Now let's take a look at my estimated revenue for 2023, and that was $49,979 on YouTube. Now, keep in mind, this is only YouTube AdSense. This is like the amount of money you get from all of the ads being played on your videos. And for me, that converted into about $50,000. $50,000 may sound like a lot or a little to you. For me personally, there would be no way I would be able to live off of $50,000 a year. I have 4 children. I have a fairly large house here in Massachusetts near Boston, where real estate is very expensive. We've got 2 cars. My kids play baseball. They go to school. You get the idea. $50,000 a year for our entire family to live would not cut it at all. And that's where all of the other income revenue streams come in. Other than YouTube AdSense, a big portion of my income comes from affiliate sales. And this could be from a number of different places. It could be places like Amazon, or from playbetter.com, or REI, or Backcountry, or just about any link that you'll find in the description of my videos down below is an affiliate link. And when you click on that link, it will give me a small commission if you decide to buy the thing that you clicked on. And this is, of course, of no charge to you. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just sort of a thank you from that retailer to the person that directed you their way. So there's Google AdSense, and then there's affiliate sales. And between those two, those make up a pretty sizable chunk of my income. Next up would be sponsorships or brand deals. And these are strategic partnerships with different brands where I just give them sort of an advertisement mid-video. And I'll be pretty straightforward when these things happen. I'll say, hey, this video is sponsored by so-and-so, and then I'll explain it. I am very particular. I'm very choosy on who I work with brand deals, because my reputation, my credibility means a lot to me, and I don't want to just throw it away for a couple $1,000. I really want to make sure I can endorse wholeheartedly the thing I'm talking about. So if you see a brand deal or a sponsorship in my video, it's something I really appreciate, or something I've been using for many years myself and paying for it with my own money. So I'm happy to do the brand deal or the sponsorship with that brand. And then when it comes to the rest of the channel's income, it breaks down into a whole bunch of different revenue streams. There's Patreon and the YouTube members. By the way, if you want to join the Patreon, link down below. And of course, there's the merch store where you can buy Chase Summer trucker hats or stickers. And I do get a small profit off of those as well. At the end of the day, it's not like having a typical job where you get that, pay stub in the mail. That's sort of the same every week because you have a salary. You get that W-2 at the end of the year that kind of outlines your salary, and it all looks kind of the same every year. When you're a full-time content creator, when this is your only job, your pay is going to go up and down every month depending on how much content you put out and how well those videos performed and what brand deals you have. It's really all over the place. And again, that is a pretty big downside to doing this for a living. And now I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Are you aspiring to get into content creation? Are you looking to get onto Instagram or TikTok or become a YouTuber? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And also, I'd love to know if you found this video entertaining, if it's something you want to hear more about in the future, if this is something I should do every year on the channel, sort of outline the previous year before, because I know it doesn't really fit the niche of this channel, but I did think it was worth talking about. So I did it. I can't take it back now, can I? I guess I could delete the video, but I won't do that. All right, friends, that's the end of this video. I hope you found it fun or entertaining, and yeah, I'll see you next time.